This video is brought to you by Cracks Only. Check out the link in the video description below to get to their website and check out their latest products. Trust me, you do not want to miss them. What's going on, people? Welcome to the full view. Hit a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. I ain't gonna dress this up. Big up to Minna, big up to KG. Actually, big up to Kenny. He's just arrived. I think he's here. Yes, he is.
Absolute disgrace.
Big up to Kenny. Good evening, Kenny. We've got a lot to talk about in this show. I want it straight down the middle. I don't want no on the fence. I don't want no giving a blind. KG's words to me before the show was, I do what I want. I say what I want.
I say what I want.
And that's how it's always going to be. I understand that.
Absolutely.
We got to talk about Marcus Rashford. Ten Hag versus Rashford. What should happen next? Where are we at with it? Where are you guys at in the chat? We've seen that his brother and agent obviously came in to Carrington today. We saw, I don't know if people saw the presser that happened after the game where Ten Hag was asked some more. And he said, reiterated the fact it's an internal matter. You look a bit confused there, KG. Have you seen that one?
No, I'm just looking at Owen's camera. He looks a bit grainy for me.
Oh, he does actually. Yeah,
I'm getting the little Wi-Fi bars.
Oh, yeah. You're a little bit behind schedule as well. You're a little bit out of sync. Ooh.
I'll go out and come back in.
Yeah,
and just smash this router up over here. Just give me 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
Yeah, so we need to have some honest conversations about what's going on here. So I'm going to open up the floor. Minna, let's start with you. What are you saying on this Rashford thing? I remember the little, when he done that, he was like, whatever, man, just score goals. That's cool. We're now finding ourselves in this situation. What are you saying?
You know, I actually don't care. I don't care in the instance that it's just, we played a game yesterday, albeit it wasn't the greatest performance, but everyone's talking about this Rashford situation instead of fundamentally what was wrong in yesterday's game. If Rashford had played yesterday, I don't think it would have changed the way that we played, especially in the second half. I don't think it would have made a big of a difference. This Rashford issue, I think, is just a clear example of how some people or players for far too long at Manchester United can get away with a lot. I was saying a few days ago on my own channel, I said, well, he could have actually been sick. You know, there's a flu going around. He could have legitimately been sick. But I think the problem for me is more so is you already know the fan base are onto you, the media are onto you. You know you're not having a good performance this season. Why are you now putting yourself in the firing line? Yes, no one's saying you can't go out and enjoy your life. You can absolutely do that. But in an instance, lay low. Lay low. It's the 21st century, yeah. Even if he went to a club, I've never been to a club yet, but I've heard of footballers having parties at clubs where they take phones away from guests and people have to sign NDAs.
I can confirm this is true.
They don't want stuff out there. I've heard situations like that. So if that was the case, he should have just done that, because we live in the 21st century. One person snaps a picture of you, or you're here there posing for pictures and all of that kind of stuff. You know what's going to happen. It's going to end up on the internet. People are going to run wild with it. Honestly, I'm done with it. I am absolutely done with it. Let him go if he has to leave. But unfortunately, one thing I don't like, and people might say is me being double standards, is kind of like the witch hunt for Rashford today or the last couple of days. There's literally been people just going in on Rashford in. Obviously, he's not had a good season. So if this was last season and he was playing if he was playing well like he was last season, I don't think people would care too much that he's missed one game out of illness and he was out partying the night before that, so he missed training. But I think it's because it's a combination of a lot of stuff. It's his poor performances this season. Prior to this, it looked like he didn't even care on the pitch anyways. It looked like he had no interest for his own performance or to give his all to the team. On top of that, a new contract. And on top of that, now this. I kind of feel like it's just a long kind of domino effect. And one thing I'll say is a lot of people are comparing it to the Jadon Sancho thing. I've had this debate with my friends talking about when Ten Hag put the Sancho thing out to the public, by saying the reason why he was dropped from the traveling matchday squad. People said Eric Ten Hag shouldn't do that. And then now, when Eric Ten Hag has said this is an internal matter and we're going to deal with it internally, people are saying, oh, he should bat up Rashford.
Yeah, he
the same
can't
way
win,
that he threw Sancho out. We need to make up our minds. 1 minute we want him to throw people out to the wolves. The next minute we're like, oh, you should actually defend your players in public and deal with it in private. If that's what they're doing now, and it must be a big situation if his agent has had to come down to Carrington, I think it has to be a big situation. I think for the betterment of the team and for the betterment of Rashford himself and for the betterment of the fans, Rashford should just go. He should leave because
he should just leave.
Yeah, he should go. He should go. I'm all for selling him in the summer, not because I don't think he's a good player, but I just think it's been a domino effect of situations that is literally it's taken away the attention from the pitch, what's happening on the pitch. And last season, when there was problems off the pitch and there was situations arising off the pitch, what did they do? They dealt with it quickly so that we could focus on results. No one's here talking about the FA Cup game yesterday. No one's talking about that. Everyone's talking about Rashford. Everyone is talking. Rashford didn't even play, and he's still the topic of discussion. It's brazy.
Travash said when you were speaking, Minna, said not on a work night though, Minna. He knew that he had training the next day.
And that's what I'm saying. It's irresponsible of him. It's irresponsible of him, and that's why I can't. That's something I can't really support. I can't really listen. I'll be honest. There's times I've gone to weddings that finish at 2 a.m. on a work day. Yeah. I may or may not call in sick. I may or may not. I'm not going to implicate myself here on stream. But one thing I will say is that people do that shit. But when you're a footballer making 300k, that shouldn't be the case.
Yeah, I agree. Before we get around the room and bring in Marcel, this video is brought to you by Cracks Only. As you can see right here, big up to the guys out there in LA. They're doing their thing. If you need your boot bag, your wash bags, like I showed you earlier, there you go. They've sent that through. Big, nice. Look at that. Look at the details in there. Big compartments. Cracks Only socks. They're there. They're comfy. You know what I'm saying? Get hold of those as well.
My stuff's almost in transit. What's going on?
I tell you what, KG, my stuff's arrived. So that's
FedEx.
Good. You know what I mean?
I'll speak to FedEx. The beanie, it's there. You know what I'm saying? They've got everything for yourself there. And if you don't play football and you're just into streetwear brands and streetwear fashion, they've got your tracksuits, they've got your short sets, they've got everything that you need. So make sure you guys check it out. The link is in the video description below. Nubian Pharaoh earlier on said today he's going on there to get some merch. That was crazy this morning. So big up to him. And yes, you guys can do so if you want to hit the like in the video description. Sorry, smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and make sure you check out the Cracks Only as well. Right, we've got Marcel covered in here as well.
I'd love to hear it.
Yes. Hello.
Yes.
He's live from the jail cell. Oh my days.
Yeah. I want to change my. I got to do it from my phone because my laptop's not working today for some reason.
Yeah. Turn it. Yeah. There you go. Like that. Like that.
This guy is incredible.
How you guys been? How's everyone been? Do
you know why?
I need some Cracks Only hairbands.
Do you know why I get mad?
Hairbands, man.
Can I say why I get mad? I get called out for being late and stuff and all these things here, and I'm here and look at the way this guy turns up. He doesn't look ready for nothing. Bro, camera's not now.
He's broadcast off a smuggled in phone.
It's like he's really from jail. This is ridiculous. And then
I'm not late all the time though, KG. You're like late more than me.
No, they know.
He's not Marcel.
Marcel, in the comments, it's disgusting. And then when it happens, it'll be KG's not here.
Yeah, KG, you're right on that. You're right.
Look at this guy. This guy ain't ready to work. This guy's going to now talk about Rashford not being professional.
What is going on here?
The floor's yours. What do you think about Rashford and his professionalism?
Well, apparently he's ill. Apparently he was ill. He reported in ill. So, we're just kind of take that for as a pinch of salt, I guess. I mean, it's a bit embarrassing the fact that he goes out on was it the Thursday and the Wednesday? It's a bit condemning, but look at the state of the club. I mean, all the players, the discipline from every single player at some stage hasn't been brilliant. So,
we're gonna do this.
Is what it is with Rashi.
Wait, hold on. Hold on. Pause. Wait. So what are you saying? So this thing, you're not like angry at him. You're just like, well, he said he was ill, so he's ill, and it's just annoying. What's the start? Like, what should happen? Don't you think he's taking an absolute piss? I'm not telling you what to think here. I'm just asking you.
Well, okay. Well, no, I hear what you're saying, Flex. I mean, let's be honest. Has he been brilliant throughout his whole tenure here at the club? So I think the jury is out on him, to some degree, and within the next season or two, we're gonna have to decide whether we want him or not. So these kind of things are just signs of him showing that he's not, Man United caliber right now, or that he's not, conducting himself in the right manner. He's a professional footballer. He should be able to conduct himself in a certain way, and he hasn't done that. So I am a bit, annoyed about it or whatever. But you gotta just take it as it comes. With one of these situations, I think you put him up in the market maybe this summer.
But I feel like you're in that mode because you do feel that way to Rashi, and you have a long time. So you're like, you know what, he's gonna fast track his way out. Because I know you've said quite a few times, nah, not for you. You've taken the money in the summer, just gone. I think you said.
Well, with
you've
Sancho,
been saying that for a while.
Oh, yeah, with Sancho as well, and for Rashi to degree as well.
You said it, yeah.
Yeah, I do agree with you, Fleck. Like, Rashi and Sancho for me are two players that have been at the club for a long time now and haven't really performed, to like the elite Manchester United level. So, I've always been saying, even though, and that's why I was kind of saying last week that I'm more on the side of maybe, I'm sticking with Ten Hag, but if there's another manager to come in, it's De Zerbi, because, players like Rashford that Ten Hag's put his hat on, at the end of the day, we don't need him at the club.
Marcel, the comments are the community's communitying right now. They're all coming together and they're just showing you love in your own way. They really are. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Let's get the super chats out. Aminor says, I'm done with Rashi. He is missing his best friend Sancho. Sanjit says, I think Rashford is in the wrong, but I do feel like he's getting the Pogba treatment. Everything he does is under a microscope and amplified. Imagine Rashi was selfish like Garnacho yesterday. I feel like you're trying to just take accountability for me. Aminor says, did Marcel end up clubbing with Rashi and not shower? Said Aminor.
Now I'm gonna get my hair done later on today or tomorrow
right.
at some point.
He's just got the fresh afro, bro. This is El Natural. You know
how
lucky you are to have the afro, bro. I'd love to have that.
Yeah, later on today. The show goes on till 8. Later on today. How late? How late would you get that done?
Maybe 9, 10, 11. Yeah, it'll take about 2 hours or so. Just whenever I feel like getting it done, and I don't really, time these things as you.
As you know, I don't.
Turn it off, didn't it?
Kishan says, KG can no longer speak about the culture of the club if he's backing Rashford's behaviour. This club needed discipline for years. Rashford needs to go. This homegrown status has protected him for time. Before we get to KG, because a lot of people have had a lot of things to say about you, I'm learning certain things that may or may not happen to you on your own channel.
I'm going to go watch his stream back.
You got to watch his stream.
I heard he's got cooked in his own community. But we're going to come to we're going to go to Kenny. Kenny, this is it. This is where it's brilliant, really, like whole fan community, because look how long you've supported Man United for, and you've seen us through different periods and different times. What's your situation? What's your view on what's happening now? Because a lot of people are going in on Rashford.
I'm not going in on Rashford. I'm going in on the principle of what he's done. To me, I don't care if it's Rashford and Maguire, and it's irrelevant to me. At the end of the day, he's broken his club rule, and what we've wanted as a fan base is standards, and we don't only expect standards on the football field when they're playing. We expect them same standards as Manchester United players off the field. Now, we know that historically in the past, you've had issues with people that are going to nightclubbing and so on and so on and so on. But we've always been aware as well that those people have been punished, and some of them have been punished severely because of the lack of discipline that they've had as a professional footballer. The way I'm seeing this now, what we've seen in the last month or 3 or 4 weeks since InEOS have come in is all they've spoke about is standards. The standards of the club, we expect this, the fans expect that. We need to bring back the glory days, this, that and the other. So for me, I think, and I might be wrong here, But if I was InEOS now, InEOS can make a massive statement here. If you want to get the fans on side or whatever and talk about standards and not be two-faced because it's the golden boys on the front poster of everything, or on the front page of everything, then for me, what they've got to do is to make the stance, whichever way it is, and then bring them rules in that are clear to everyone involved in the club. Because what we've seen already is we've seen them come in. We've seen them with Brailsford. Brailsford's talking about marginal gains, etc. How can you talk about marginal gains? Expect the fans to back you up and support you when the first time that your star player goes out on the piss, he gets away with it when it should be in training, not on. So to me, it's not Rashford. It's not Rashford. This is everyone associated with the club. If you wear that badge, then there is a standard that you should, and if you're earning £1,000 a week or £500,000 a week, it is irrelevant. It is irrelevant. InEOS,
but what is your view on? But Kenny, you see when you're saying it's not Rashford though, what is on the individual? Because Dallo hasn't done this, Garnacho hasn't done this, Anthony hasn't done this. This is Rashford who's done this,
and that's what I'm saying. I'm not expecting what I would do. What I would do personally is irrelevant because it won't happen. It's what InEOS do. That's what I would judge this on there. It's what InEOS, not Ten Hag.
Not Ten Hag. But
Ten Hag's just
the one
employee. No, he's just an employee, Ten Hag. Ten Hag is just an employee like Rashford. Tomorrow night, Ten Hag could be caught out in a nightclub for all we know. This is the point. No, but it's true, isn't it? It's true. It's true. He wouldn't be the first manager to do wrong and be punished for it. But he sets the standard. But it's the ultimate.
But is Ten Hag not in control about what this looks like for Rashford? He said, "I will deal with it." It's his job. He's the manager. It's his job to deal
with it. But at the end of the day, because of if he's, let's say Ten Hag now, we think has been punished with the 2-week fine. We think that's the rumour what's coming out or whatever. InEOS, for me, InEOS have set that. InEOS set the rules. The Glazers would have set the rules. The Ronaldo thing or whatever would have been on a recommendation. He could have not got rid of Ronaldo without going to the Glazers or the chief executive. So I'm expecting something similar because of the impact it will have on the standard of Manchester United as a football club. And if Rashford gets away with it, again, we don't know all the full picture. But if he's seen in the fans' eyes to get away with it, then they are going to lose a hell of a lot of credibility, I think, with the fans. Something, and if they decide and say he's on the transfer list because of it, what an impact that's going to have. Because I think from a fan base, with regards to him as a footballer, I don't think we hold him in as high regard as we once did. I think we've seen a different side to Marcus Rashford on the football field than what we have in previous years. And he's now become, it's as if he's become the new Marcel, where it doesn't appear, to be bothered. So he's becoming the new Martial. So if he just start playing, if I'm a Varane, or a Casemiro, right, and I've got an impeccable career, and I'm seen as a high regarded professional, and people are talking about getting rid of me because I'm on £200,000 a week. How do you look at Marcus Rashford? You're an impeccable professional, you're turning up to training, you're doing what you should be doing, and you see somebody who's earning more than you that appears to be getting away with whatever he wants to get away with. That is bad for the dressing room. What sends the message home for me, if you get rid of the golden boy and you put him on the transfer list, and whatever money you get for Marcus Rashford is 100% profit. So if you sell him for 100 million in your FFP, that is massive. That is absolutely massive. You get rid of Varane, you get rid of Casemiro. What you've got to do, you've got to offset what you already owe on the transfer fee, because you ain't paid it all, against the FFP. So that profitability is minimal. It's minimal. You get rid of Rashford, that's pure profit. That is pure profit. His own goal.
I'm gonna get the super chats out here. It's just Danny says MJ reborn. I ain't got the high note for the he. KG, have you got it? Oh, Minna's come through. Oh, Minna came through.
That was good, Come on.
Yes. Big up to Banks.
Quite literally.
That's crazy. The banks.
Wow.
No.
Wow. Listen, just a £50 super chat. No comment, no nothing, no input. Just wow. Just drop the pinky and just literally the pinky. Yeah, crazy.
It's for Marcel, a haircut. I've just read it at the bottom.
Marcus says, I am sick. I'm sick of Rashford underperforming, and he is the highest paid player in the club. Get rid and move on. We deserve better than this. KG.
There's one more, by the way, Flex.
Oh, mate.
There you go. Raul. Big up to Raul. Raul says, one question to this panel. Would these players have dared to do such a thing under Sir Alex Ferguson? No. But certain players did try and but a group of winners did, and then what happened? They weren't there anymore.
Leave,
yeah. Then why are we defending the likes of Sancho and Rashford? Right, let's get into this, KG, because we had conflicting opinions.
I got a phone call from KG today. Yeah,
go on.
I got a phone call from KG today, and he said, "Have you seen my stream?" Just, I think this adds a bit of context to this. He says, "Have you seen my stream?" And I went, "No, I haven't. I was busy." He went, "I'm being accused," and I went, "What have you been accused of?" And he went, "I'm being accused of, Rashford FC." Now, KG's trying to fight back on those accusations. Yesterday, during the match view, it got very heated, and for time they just had to cut it and said, we've got to end this right now. Flex was swearing. KG went, let's just wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. KG, do you want to defend those accusations against yourself?
I really would like Flex to talk, because we're the thing.
I've spoken enough. Why do I have to deflected? No. This is about you, bro. No. Don't try and bring me in, mate.
Ask the question immediately.
I'm not scared.
I've just said you've been accused, and you straight away gone, Flex. You talk.
Let it be straight. I'm happy to go. I'm ready to go. I've already been rushed by the delegates this morning, bro, and I still stand on how I feel. Listen to this, guys. My thing is, what is going on? My thing is with this FFP situation. Yeah, the situation that we find ourselves in, I'm trying to protect the club.
This better be good.
I am. I'm trying to protect the club financially. Yeah. And what happened with the Sancho situation, I have learned, bro. The manager said simply, all the manager said about Sancho was didn't do enough in trainers. Sancho jumped out the window and said, I'm being scapegoated, and he never played for the club again. That is the journey of play. Now, if Rashford comes into training at Carrington on Monday with his brother in tow, and he gets given whatever fine, he gets given 2 weeks' wages, fine 2 weeks' wages, and he says, you know what, not gonna do this, not gonna happen again, boss. I say draw a line on it and move forward. I'm not saying what do you call it. I think there's a thing for the people. There's people saying that they want a free match ban. I don't think that's the move, because guess what? I feel like we're on tenterhooks at this club. I don't feel everything's where it needs to be, and I don't want a situation where Rashford falls out with his manager. I already saw TalkSport doing a madness today. Simon Jordan talking about what's the line that he said? You got to blame Ten Hag on this one. Ten Hag is sending a message through the media. Why can't Ten Hag be harder on the thingies? Bro, it starts off one thing and it turns into something else. And if Rashford, let's say Rashford says, you know what, I'm being treated too harshly, and then they have a fallout. Now you have a situation where 2 players that were of good value leave the club for nothing. The Sancho is not leaving for good money. We paid out Ronaldo. This hasn't been good.
Rashford's not going to leave for nothing. He's got a 6-year deal, and we didn't pay for him nothing.
No, but while he's got value, if there's a breakdown in relationship, the value won't be the same. That's the part that I'm saying. Right now, I want to sell Rashford at the end of the season. But my thing is, I want it to be this is the thing that we can get pure profit for this player. This is the one situation where it's from the academy. When we sell, we can get as much money as possible.
But no one's saying he should never.
So when should he go back in the team?
I'm ready to put him back. I'm saying he starts on the bench and bring him in at half time. Even if it's worse than that, bring him in. What's the issue?
Would you start in the next game? This is the question. If Marcus Rashford apologizes,
absolutely, I'll put him on the bench.
If the situation's resolved, whatever, he comes in, he's with his agent, Ten Hag goes, apologize, Rashford goes, I'm sorry. Do you then start him on the left against Wolves on Thursday?
I don't need to start him. I put him on the bench and bring him in. if that's what you call it, right now, I don't need to start him the same way he done before the Wolves game. He doesn't have to start. But the matter is, listen, mate.
Would you?
I'm not. Do you know what? I'd rather not play Anthony. To be honest, I'd play him. Me personally, I'd play him. But obviously, there's so much pushback in the with the fans. They're saying that we need to see more. But my thing is, well, you lot want Ten Hag to take these. People are saying, "Raw, treat him like Sancho." Not a lot of people are saying they don't even like the way Sancho's treated. So why are we saying we should do it again? It didn't help Man United. FFP is a real thing, and for me, protect the assets at all costs. I want to sell Rashford. I do want to sell.
FFP don't come into it with Rashford because he's 100% profit. He come from our academy. We didn't buy him for shit.
Exactly,
so anything we sell him for is a bonus.
I'm saying right now, I don't want to sell this guy for 45 million. I don't want a situation that it breaks down with these two.
If he misses 2 games, KG, bro, you're basically saying if he misses 2 or 3, no one's. I don't. Well, my thing is not banish him so he doesn't play for the rest of the season. I didn't say that. I said he should not be in the team against Wolves, and you're like, but then that makes his value drop down and this that. No, yeah, if it's a 3-game ban, well, one was yesterday. If he doesn't play for the rest of the week, calm.
Why is your one enough? But I'm saying that some people are saying, 1-game ban, 2-game ban. Why is yours enough, but mine isn't? I'm saying, raw, if he's on the bench and then comes on at halftime, that could be enough for me. But then you say you want a stronger.
Because it's not enough, KG. It's not enough, bro. He's taking the piss out of us, bro. Like the guy, bro. Let's just break this down, yeah. Let's just break this down. We saw him walking at St. James's Park. Couldn't be bothered to track no one. Couldn't be bothered to do nothing. What were we saying then? We were saying Eric Ten Hag keeps starting him all the time. There's no reprimand for Rashford. He's walking around like he owns the gaff. Let's just say it as it is. Yeah.
I agree.
So what do you do with someone who's walking around like they own the gaff? They have to understand that they're not. That's the only way you can do it. So there was no consequence for not trying properly at Newcastle. Why? Because we're going, you know what? It's kind of shit. Like there's not really anyone else. I don't even know if Anthony was there. He might have been away on the other thing. Like, oh, okay, cool. He's getting in by default. Yeah, we're getting in by default. Then we had the thing with Man City. Yeah, where we got slapped 3-0 at Yard. He's in China Whites. And he's going, our manager told us that is unacceptable. I've spoken to him. Yeah. Then if you want to look at the last time we played Wolves away, which was just over a calendar year ago, what happened then? He was a few minutes late for the thing, and he had to get dropped from the starting team. Yes, he come on and helped us, and we praised Ten Hag at the time for having an impact. Some people even said that day he should have just been out the squad, so that every player knows if you are 30 seconds late, an hour late, whatever, the fine list is all up. As soon as I come in, you know what it is. You're not coming. It's like me saying, okay, if anyone's late, including me, to the stream, you're not on it. But then you just do that from the start, and then everybody knows throughout the whole thing there's going to be no surprises, yeah? So that's what's happened. So we've seen that. Then we've seen, like, the celebration. All right, cool. He said it was about Sancho. It rubbed people up the wrong way, not really reading the room, but cool. He clarified it on somebody just tweeting what he thought was right, and he co-signed that. And then... And then, because I banged the table.
You're on your AirPods. You're on your AirPods, Flex. Yeah. You're on your AirPods.
Hold on.
He got so animated he broke his equipment.
And then you miss training and say you're ill, yeah, and you don't turn up. What?
It's got progressively worse.
What message? What message? Ten Hag. I tell you what. If he plays against Wolves, yeah. Ten Hag may as well get his bags and everything and look up to the stands where Sir Jim Ratcliffe is in there and say, I'm not the man. Say, I'm not the man. Resign. Resign, bro. If he doesn't, if he plays against Wolves, he may as well say, I ain't cut out for this.
But what if I'm telling you that we've sorted it and we're sorted it? What if he says
that? Because that means you're saying you can pay your way. That means you're saying you can pay your way out of stuff.
No, but what if he said that what we've sorted in the meeting was fair enough, and I'm happy with what I've seen. I'm happy with the apology I received, and we're moving on. What if that happens?
But is that enough, cages?
But why not? Because my thing is, I'm not saying
because
the separation that everyone's making is people are saying that I know there's an issue with Rashford at this club. Rashford needs a new challenge. Rashford needs something else. Rashford is not engaged the way he needs to be. I'm not saying that we can't look at selling Rashford at the end of the season, but one thing I can say is the way we manage this club and the players, the high-profile players that have gone out and we haven't got true value for, it's disgusting. We can't keep doing this. And in
that's not going to happen.
What about the people who are here, KG? What about the people who are here after Rashford? We're acting like Rashford's the most important thing in the thing. This is for the team. So once Rashford's sold, once Rashford's sold, yeah, with what you're saying, yeah, yes. that means you're saying that to set the culture, we'll get him out in the summer. If I'm a player in there, I'm thinking, yeah, but you let my man get away with murder. What does it do for the people who are still there? It shows that the manager's weak, bro.
I'm saying in the summer, all I'm doing is I'm kicking this thing down to later. I will deal with the situation, but dealing with it now doesn't make sense. Right now, Man United can be in a situation where we can fight for Europe. I think Man United can be in a situation where we can fight for Europe.
He's been playing every game and he's been shit regardless.
If that was the case, then if that was the case, KG, then he would have really abandoned his principles, wouldn't it?
The killer is, are you asking me a question or not? Because you're saying to me, I'm responding, and then you don't like my response. So I don't know.
I was going to ask you a question. I was going to ask you a question.
I didn't even finish the thing. I'm saying that, what do you call it? The situation.
It's been a long answer. That's the case.
As soon as I say something, and I'm like, wait, guys, let me see what I think, and then you can tell me if it's wrong. You just don't like it. The main thing is you don't like what I'm saying. The main thing is you don't like what I'm saying, but I believe that there's facts in what I'm saying. I believe that this thing can be sorted out later. What right now there's a cloud over Man United, and as soon as we, yes, why not 6 months?
Oh, here's the fine for the thing you done 6 months ago. That time when you didn't turn up. Come on, KG.
This was my question, KG. This is my question I was going to ask you. This is my question I was going to ask you. Right?
Wait, hold on 1 second. Just to respond to the 6 point argument, I had the same thing for Sancho. Sancho does not like the manager. Sancho should have played his football and handed in a transfer request at the end of the season. It would have been fine, and everyone would have won. But guess what? Who lost? Man United, because we're still paying his wages, and it hasn't gone our way. The only one smiling is Jadon Sancho.
So we should have let Jadon Sancho back without an apology then.
I'm saying that Jadon Sancho, that situation should have been fixed. It wasn't. Even on top of that, Ronaldo,
why was it not fixed?
Ronaldo, when it went bad, he went to and do you know who he replaced him with? Weghorst. We don't win in these situations. Financially,
So you're saying giving to the players who have done fuck all for us?
This was the question I was going to ask, KG. Your assumption is that this is going to go down the same route that Jadon Sancho went down, which is a standoff. But you're saying it can. But do you not agree that that's probably incredibly unlikely? And even if Eric Ten Hag says to Marcus Rashford, you need to apologize, because bear in mind, Rashford's probably done worse than Sancho here. You know, Jadon Sancho, I mean, I don't know whether he did show up for training, didn't show up training, lateness, whatever. That's
man just weren't there.
This is allegedly as well. This is going out on the Wednesday and then the Thursday, and initially the club actually thinking that it was only Wednesday, only to find out later on that it's Thursday as well, right? So that's part of it. So even if it doesn't go down the route of the Sancho thing and he does apologize, which I think he probably will, he did last time, from Ten Hag's point of view, would he not view it as this happened in whenever the City game was, October? This happened in October, not exactly the same, but we spoke about it. Now it's got worse and a fine's not enough. Okay, if he does apologize, there still has to be consequences. I can't, just tiptoe around this situation. There has to be ramifications out of the team for, let's just say it's a week. A bit like with Ronaldo when he got punished and they said, oh, he's away training on his own for a week. If he was training on his own for a week this week, he would miss 3 games, then comes back in. Does that get to a situation where it's like, oh, it's Jadon Sancho-esque again? Can it not go down that route? And then you still do what you want to do in the summer?
When you said
you just complete all or nothing, blow everything up or nothing.
You said that the killer is, you said you never thought that it shouldn't, it's so unlikely for it to turn into what it turned into. I just know after the Arsenal game, all my manager said was he didn't do enough to be selected. I never knew that would be the last day that Jadon Sancho plays for Man United, but it happened. So, and Jadon Sancho's main line was scapegoat. There's a lot of stuff happening in training that we do not know about. So if we say, I don't know what's going on, but for Jadon to come out and say, I am the scapegoat of this team, which was the most unexpected thing for me to ever see.
Yeah, but what's your defense if you just don't turn up?
No, but end of the day, he could say, you know what, in other situations when players have been late or shown a lack of professionalism, nothing happened. So when he says now, if they say, what are they looking for? I paid my fine, I've apologized, let's move forward. Let's move forward. End of the season, because I'm still saying, it's not like I'm not saying we don't need to sell Rashford. We need to sell Rashford. I see the way he moves in this club. But my thing is, I don't want to do a situation where players that were high valued are no longer that. And my thing is,
if he allows that,
go ahead.
If he allows that, you're talking about players in high value. Does he then lead himself into a potential of having a Jadon Sancho situation with someone else because they go, wait a minute, that's a double standard. There was a double standard with Anthony. There was a double standard with this player. If you're Garnacho, for instance, right?
Yes.
Homegrown player, could Alejandro Garnacho go, wait a minute, I was on pre-season, not this past season, the pre-season before. I missed a couple of meetings, whatever. That's still brought up today. I score a goal at Goodison Park overhead kick, or I score a winner away from home in the Europa League last season, for instance. What do they bring up straight away? Oh, he's a really good player, but attitude problems. If Marcus Rashford literally does what he has done, and done a couple of times this season, and then goes, sorry, and Eric goes, you're one of my best players, I'll let you start against Wolves. What message does that send to him? And then those other players around the squad might be like, well, actually, Jadon was right. There is a double standard, and the double standard is Jadon Sancho's best mate.
And I think that's the problem. Right now, I believe that Man United fans, when they're talking about this situation, when we bring it up, we're not just talking about him missing training. We're talking about him doing this to the fans. We're talking about there's other things in this argument. It's not about, it's beyond this. It's like almost
even if you strip it down to just that, then keep it just that.
Right? When you have an argument with your missus or something, and you're not actually arguing about, there's other things you're arguing about. We're not talking about this. You're talking about all of this, bro. And it don't make sense. I'm saying now.
The other instance come into it.
It does, because they lead up to this, KG, where you're not learning. You're not learning.
Bro,
you can't bro, you can't look. I hear what you're saying, because you're saying like maybe people are going too hard because they're pissed off about other stuff that are leading into this.
Absolutely.
But what we've seen is the manager tell him off for going out once before when we got slapped at home to our rivals. Then what we've seen is him have to get disciplined for missing a meeting. It's a track record of not giving an F. Of course it's relevant. We're not just talking about performance. If it's just not scoring goals, or it's not this, or it's not that, cool. I get it. Then you can say, people are just going in on him because he's rubbish, man. That's a different agenda. We're talking about disciplinary problems that have led to this. It's like committing a crime. It's like committing a crime and getting to court, and they go, is he a previous offender? Nah, he's got a clean record. Okay. Or they go, well, on the 21st of the thing, missed it against Wolves. 3-0 against Man City, went out in China Whites. It matters.
Okay, so remember you said, because this shouldn't happen. If you're sending a message to players and one message should be enough, after you get rid of one of the greatest players to ever play the game and you say, you know what, you rip up his contract, shouldn't the message be
Why
sent?
did his contract get ripped up? He sat with Piers Morgan. That's the reason why it did. Let's not get that twisted. The reason the Ronaldo thing happened was because he was on the bench and he didn't like it. So he went to Piers Morgan. He made us have to rip up the contract, bro.
No, I'm saying that the message should be sent. If you lot can't learn from how we treated one of the greatest players to play the game and tearing up his contract, then what are you not going to learn? I'm saying right now, we drop Ronaldo.
Back in the team.
We turn up, we ripped up Ronaldo's contract, and people are still doing foolishness at Man United.
So you give up and just stop. So you stop and let them win. So we say we don't want players to be in control, but right now you want to give all the power to the guy who don't care.
I'll ask you the simple question: can you tell me if we deal with Ronaldo like this, if we deal with Rashford like this, there's not going to be issues coming up with players in the future?
Of course, it doesn't mean that. Of course there is. Of course there's going to be. And guess what, KG? And guess what? If Bruno does a madness, if Varane does a madness, they can get effed as well. That's what this is about. It doesn't.
Issues either way. Either way you do it, there's going to be problems, isn't there? Because if you think about it, if Rashford's given don't worry about it, that will create issues. If Rashford's exiled, that will create issues. But that's why I said, why does it have to be so like extreme? Why can't it be in the middle? Why can't it be
just like that? After the game,
that's been a problem.
After the game, questions were on Rashford. He said, "Can I ask some questions about the game, please?" And this is what happens. This issue will become bigger than
tell Rashford to turn up then.
Because he's one of your highest paid players.
Mina said that. Mina said.
And he's made a massive brand for himself, and he's out on the piss not going to training, and he's had a bad season.
Man. Listen, KG, bro, you're being naive in this, bro. You are.
You're not going to change my opinion on this.
I know that. And we're not trying to. That's fine.
I feel the way I feel, and I've said why I feel that, and that should be enough. So if what you call it, you can't badger me into believing how you feel. I'm saying I'm looking at it from a financial aspect, and I feel like this is the best way to protect the player, to sell him for the right amount of money. That's what I would like to do.
Mina, what are you saying on what KG's saying there, and what we're saying at this minute?
I agree with bits. I disagree with bits. Like, I agree with the part in terms of value, the player's value. At the end of the day, Marcus Rashford is 100% profit. But you want to have your player playing if you have an intention of selling them in the summer, because no team will be interested in buying someone who's been riding the bench for the better half of the season. That's
even
the part
2 games, not to the end of the season.
2 games, yeah, 2 games is
3 games.
It's not a big deal.
A week.
It's not a big deal. I agree, but I agree with the part about valuation of the player. I disagree with the part that at the end of the day, since this season, yeah, we've been talking about player power. Essentially, if you let Marcus Rashford walk away from this situation without any sort of punishment, then player power wins. I thought the whole idea was, Eric Ten Hag over player power. Now it's, player power in the instance that it suits you. I think it's understanding the balance. I'm just surprised that this is getting so much time. Like, honestly, I'm just surprised that this is a hot topic, because I think Marcus Rashford will get punished. I think he'll probably get a fine. I think he might get maybe some time on the bench, but comparing the Ronaldo situation to the Sancho situation to this Rashford situation, they're all different. They're all different. All of them are different. The thing with Ronaldo was that he went to Piers Morgan. He went to an outside outlet and basically did a 2-hour sit down. That was what United were annoyed about. They dealt with him accordingly. There was a build-up to that as well. And it was a build-up, and they dealt with him accordingly. They dealt with him accordingly when he refused to come on against Spurs. Ten Hag said it's an internal matter. They dealt with it internally, and then it was a domino effect of situations after that. Jadon Sancho, I think, is something similar. We wanted, if Sancho wasn't available, and this is just me playing devil's advocate, but if he wasn't available for that Arsenal game, there would have been a lot of speculation anyways, if the manager didn't address why he was not available. The manager simply said he has not performed in training, so he does not make the matchday squad. What does that do? That sets a precedent. That means how you play in training directly impacts whether you are part of the matchday squad. Forget about even the first team. The fact that he couldn't make it into the matchday squad is the bigger problem, because you're saying that academy kids are working harder in training to just be on the bench. They know they ain't going to play, but they're working hard in training to be on the bench, whereas Sancho is probably thinking, I ain't going to play, so what's the point on even trying in training? This is a completely different situation, because outside of the fact that it has nothing to do with something that happened in Carrington or on the pitch at Old Trafford, but it actually impacts the team on the pitch. Why? Because that's one lesser player available when we are already running thin on the bench. Yesterday, Ahmad Palestri, who else was available in terms of attacking wise on the bench? We don't have a striker right now. Rasmus Højlund carrying all the burden of being the number 9. And if Marcus Rashford was available, Rasmus Højlund would have options to kind of rest. But is that also impacts a domino effect? So I think, honestly, this Rashford thing is honestly played out. Like, it's played out. He'll get his punishment. Once he does, let's move on from it. One thing I will say is that you can't be 1 minute Ten Hag has to set boundaries and people need to be, he needs to have, his philosophy and he needs to be able to discipline players. And then next minute be like, oh, no, but, he shouldn't be dealing with players like this, blah, 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 blah. I think, honestly, that's all I have to say. And I hope you lot don't ask me again what I think about this Rashford thing. I don't want to talk about it.
Well, tell Rashford to turn up, then we won't have nothing to talk about. Kenny, you've heard KG's side of the story. Obviously, people sit in the chat saying it's getting heated. We are going to get to the super chats in a sec. If you haven't liked the video, please do like the video. We're currently on 313 likes, nearly 2,000 people watching live. Please, guys, if you haven't dropped a like, I'm sure we can get to 500 likes minimum by the time we're done. So please drop a like on the video if you haven't done so already. Kenny, what say you?
He's not condoning what KG isn't condoning what he's done. What KG is doing, KG is looking at it as a Glazer would look at it, is the financial implications.
So are you saying that KG's like a Glazer?
Kevin Glazer's a real thing.
Kevin Glazer, because he's looking at it from a business perspective, isn't it? But I look at it from a standards perspective and an InEOS perspective, in that you are coming in here, you have got massive changes to make. The first big issue that you have, if you do not make a stance on this one, irrespective of the name of the player, then you're on a loser. You're on a loser. They've gained loads of credibility. They have gained loads of credibility with the fans for what they've done about speaking to fan groups, appointing this, appointing that, looking to develop the usage. Everything they've done so far has been a positive. And this is the first stumbling block. This is their first stumbling block. And they will have their eyes and their ears well on top of this. They will be making a decision, and that decision will be not what happens in the next 2 months, but what happens in the next 2 or 3 years. Because if they make the wrong decision, if they make the right decision, for me, the right decision is that he gets punished, and he gets punished heavily. And if part of that punishment in the longer term means that he either asks for a transfer or they put him on the transfer list, then so be it. But he cannot be seen to get away with it. He cannot. Because I would lose credibility in the whole process. I'm thinking, hang on a minute. We've had this for the last 10 years. We've had Pogbas, we've had everything. It's been a nightmare for us as fans. We've been so frustrated about the standards that they don't have. Not what they do have, what they don't have as footballers and as a club. And all of a sudden, we're being given this, how can I put, a dream that this is going to change and you're going to go back to how it used to be with regards to what it doesn't happen at Manchester. We're not, Man City fans don't sit there all night talking about what Grealish did or Grealish doesn't do. He gets punished. He gets dropped. If Kevin Phillips does something wrong, you don't play. If you're not good enough to play, you're out and you'll be transfer listed. Done. Other clubs don't have it. We create our own problems, and this is part of the problem that we have as a football club. And now the InEOS have got an opportunity to put that to bed. They've got an opportunity to put that to bed.
Pav says Ronaldo was right all along about certain players. They lack the work ethic and desire to be at the top level. By the way, Owen, you ruined Royal Rumble for me.
Oh, well, you know, it is what it is. Well, people get angry sometimes when something's just something's happened on television live and it's all over social media, and then they say your thumbnail spoiled it. But it's kind of like, well, got a difficult, you got to, you know. And I got some big news tonight as well. Check it out on my channel.
Oh, check it out.
Big news.
More big news. More big
An injury.
News.
A big injury.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Big injuries. Okay, big injuries in WWE world. Kishan says, facts, Kenny. It's not on Eric Ten Hag, it's on InEOS. Standards can't change with every manager. This has been the problem over the last 10 years. There needs to be a Man United standard, no matter the player or the manager. Panda is the latest member of the UV Members Club. Welcome to you, Panda. Thank you for joining. Naveed says, KG, aka Kaka, you fraud. WJ Barrett says, this is why the reckless delegates lost their mind. If this was what was going on his own channel where he could just run free, I'm actually going to go back and watch it. They held you accountable. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it. Kishan says, KG, the message we are sending players is to do what you want, as we are scared of losing value on you. I agree with that. WJ Barrett says, Rashford has to fall for this. He is taking the piss. Eric Ten Hag has to reprimand publicly. Same energy as Sancho. 2-match ban and 2-week wages fine. Then sell. Show Ramen, been a member for 16 months. Big up to you. Says, fan base is a joke. Beg for standards, but want to let certain players off because that's their favourite. Rashford is nothing. Sell him and move on. Legendary Villain says, honestly, KG has lost the plot. KG was probably like Ferguson, do not sell Beckham because of FFP. Probably said that to Ferguson, don't sell Beckham.
What's the problem then?
What are you on, KG? Stop waffling, then. He needs a ban.
FFP wasn't a problem then.
You're crazy, you're moving mad. Basilo says, KG was in Belfast, ridiculous not to punish Rush. Santiago, you actually was in Ireland not long ago as well, isn't it?
I was.
Wait there. Santiago says, nothing will kill a great employee faster than watching you tolerate a bad one. The punishment is above Rashford. It's about the rest of the team. It's just Danny. KG substitute teacher vibes. # go easy. Raul says, KG, just get off this panel, man. Talking crap. Just get off.
All of these super chats are just brutal.
Black Zeus says, Rashford should get a 3-match ban. 1 for going out the night before training, 1 for not showing up for training, and 1 for lying. Chalaboy Comics says, looks like KG forgot his brain at AFCON. Tell Onana to bring it back when he returns. LOL. They're on to you, bro. It's just Danny says, KG, this ain't reckless. This is rectum opinions. Tishan says, Alan Shearer, I know people got to go at 55, so I'm going to get through these. Alan Shearer has told Marcus Rashford he can't keep wasting his talent. As he stated, the striker needs strong management for someone to get hold of him. Ed says, KG wants Anthony deported, so he'll let Rashford get away with murder. Bun that 3 times in under 1 year, he's got in trouble. He's showing no respect for Eric Ten Hag. Legendary Villain says, KG says he hates the Glazers because they care about money more than the club. The same KG acts like the Glazers put in financial aspects, FFP, in front of club culture. Ain't gonna lie. Disappointed. Not even angry. Disappointed. Disappointed. WJ Barrett says, how does his value have anything to do with discipline? AJ says, these players know they can get away with these behaviours. Until the club clears all these bad eggs out, it won't stop. As an Arsenal fan, I was happy Aubameyang got kicked out. Can't keep repeat offenders. Basilio says, KG wants to drop Anthony and does not care about value, but all of a sudden screams value when it comes to Rashford. Be better.
How much we getting if we start Anthony tomorrow?
Well, let's continue with the super chats. Let's continue with the super chats.
No. Let's continue with the super chats, please, because we need to get to Marcel as well.
Go on, then.
Just to Marcel, because you got to go at 55, so we got to stay here for a little bit longer. So we got to get Marcel.
I've muted him. He's been muted.
Solomon says, the financial value KG is trying to keep from one player will then lead to more losses because more players will think they can get away by apologising. Yep. MUFC 14 says his actions are devaluing him, not the punishment. Yeah, because who's going to want a bad egg who thinks they can just be unprofessional and not turn up for training? Maybe what's that going to say for the FFP? Kevin Gary's condom hat enjoyer says KG sympathies with Rashid because he sympathizes with Rashid because he himself is a shadow of Rashford, always being late to the stream. And David G says, if he did this last season when he was performing, maybe it wouldn't be as big. But he's moving like he's Mbappe or Neymar. Alanga is performing better. LOL. Wow. Whole bunch of super chats there. And actually, Unruly says, KG, I agree with you. And I'm an Arsenal fan. So there is one. And Ed says, contribution for KG's PR team. They're going to need it. Marcel, what say you? Oh, actually, wait there. Minna and KG is 55 in a second. Do you guys have to depart right now?
Yeah, I need to leave it a little bit, but I feel like I need to go on a
go 7-8.
I need to leave with this one. Let me leave with this one. I will say,
this better be a good closing speech, or you might never be coming back.
I stand by my opinions. I think if you have an opinion, you should stick to it. And I'm happy with my opinion. And I feel like in the greater good, I'm doing what's best for the club. I'm going to get all the money I can for Rashford. That's me.
Okay. That was a good closing statement.
Thank you so much. Flex, we're good friends.
Tomorrow, the Flex and KG show's tomorrow, you know. Remember that.
I'm scared. I'm coming.
No. Yeah, I know. Make sure you're not late. Yeah, make sure. Remember I said the time, yeah. But I'm not letting this go. Like, I swear, I don't even want to keep playing this out because people are going to think, right, they're really dragging this. But you have taken the piss. And tomorrow, when it's just me and you, listen, I'm not having it, bro.
Trouble in paradise. There's trouble in forget death in paradise. There's trouble in paradise. That's what
we got. There you go.
The balloons.
I got a dip, guys. This is my closing statement. I don't have anything to say.
Oh no, you're not taking the piss. KG's got a balloon as well. He is a disgrace. Marcel, what say you? What are you saying, Marcel?
You know, I completely agree with KG in some aspects and then completely disagree with him in other aspects. I think Rashford, you know, the way Ten Hag handled this was off the back of the Sancho situation. So you could maybe say for Ten Hag, he's maybe learned something from that. But at the end of the day, Rashford has to go. I think, you know, all has to stand up to strong disciplinary action. You know, what he's done right now is an absolute joke. He's taken the mick out of us and he's made us seem like we're some joke club. You know, at the end of the day, you've got a report, come to meetings, and going out twice, especially after the back of the City loss as well, and going out. I just think he's just the way, like his head's not in football right now. And we've seen that under previous manager as well, under Ole, we kind of looked at it and thought, this guy doesn't want to play for the club. So I think, to have the number 10 for Manchester United Football Club, you've got to be at a certain caliber and just be obsessed with football. And it just doesn't look like Rashford's there. So, I'm really interested to see if he does get the call up against Wolves, because again, like I said, I'm starting to lose. I do believe in this manager. I want him into next season, but he's thrown his hat on a player like Rashford that doesn't believe in the club. But that's what it looks like. He's thrown his hat on Bruno, and Bruno, yes, is looking more and more like a captain. Delo does look reasonably useful. But, for someone like Rashford, a big contract player, they need to look like, they're on it and they're the creme de la creme. He's just not there. So I think really and truly, those that are saying summer, he has to be sold, I agree with them. Or next season's his last season. When is this purple patch going to come up this season? Because we haven't seen it. So, there's a lot of things with Rashi that, there's just no way you can defend.
Owen, we've seen a lot this stream.
Yeah.
I mean,
we have.
I don't know. What are you saying?
I understand what KG's saying, and legitimately, he called me on the phone earlier today, and we were chatting about it then. And I understand what he's saying in the sense of, look, if you want to get rid of Marcus Rashford, he's a homegrown player, so it's pure profit. You could get, because of how big he is as a name, you could get like 70 million for Marcus Rashford. Of course you could.
Still will. We still will, regardless of
But this is what I mean. But I don't agree with KG in the sense of, if you punish him more than, like, let's say he misses all of the games this week, that means he's never going to play for Manchester United again.
Yeah,
I don't envisage it blowing up the way that the Jadon Sancho situation blew up, purely because I think Marcus Rashford doesn't really have a leg to stand on with this one, and maybe Jadon Sancho felt like he did, whereas Marcus Rashford, I mean, the proof's there for him being out the night before. You know what I mean? So I think that he'd likely apologize. I would honestly still get rid of him at the end of the season anyway, because I just think that someone brought it up on the full-time view yesterday, and I forget who it was, but they said essentially that Marcus Rashford, the brand, might actually be bigger than the talent of Marcus Rashford, the player. In the same way that David Beckham had this huge brand. He is a huge brand, to the point that maybe sometimes people forget how good of a player David Beckham was throughout his career.
Was the other way around.
He's a top quality, top class footballer. Whereas I think Marcus Rashford, because of the off the field stuff, which obviously you don't want to disrespect the positive things that he's done, but he does these shows where he's sitting in, was it a barbershop with LeBron James? Is that what that show's called or whatever? And I don't know if maybe he thinks that he is, the footballing equivalent of a LeBron James. And if he does, someone should probably take him to one side and say, you're not, and you've got to realize that you're not. And, to get on a level of like a LeBron James, I'm not the biggest basketball fan, but from my understanding, it's, winning titles every single year, being the best player in the league every single year. And that's not what Marcus Rashford is. And maybe it's a case of having that kind of, that brand or that, I don't know, that spotlight on him, a bit like with a lot of players at Manchester United. Maybe it's a bit too fierce. I mean, the last 3 years, and you look at, the purple patch last season, but the season prior, he was back and forth with the fan base the same way he is now. So if you're going to look at it in terms of an average over the last 3 years, you would say, well, actually, he and the relationship between him and United and the fans has been more antagonistic than it's been actually good over the last several years, right? So I think it's best for him probably to move on. And I don't see any scenario in which Man United can't punish him, quite not severely, but in the sense of, let's say with Ronaldo, you're training on your own for a week. And if that's the case, then he misses 3 games. It just so happens we've got 3 games this week. If it was a couple of weeks later, it would only be 1 game, but it's 3. And that should satisfy all parties. He should apologize. He then is available for the rest of the season. And then InEOS, and if it's Ten Hag or if it's a different head coach at the end of the season, makes a determination of, do I really want to keep Marcus Rashford? Or maybe Rashford decides, actually, I want to do something different. And United, walking that tightrope of FFP, go, actually, that's not a bad idea, actually, for us, because we kind of need the money.
Do you not think he may have already made that decision from the point of view that there's been issues, like say, with his form or whatever? Is he already checked out of Man United? Has he checked out? Do you know what I mean? There's all rumors
something
about
big is going on.
Or whatever. Exactly, something's going on. Yeah,
it doesn't feel right, and for me,
no, it doesn't.
There is actually, and this is why I think KG was jumping in, because I'm talking about the here and now. Like you deal with this here and now, so that there is a quick solution. That everybody knows what it is. He knows what it is. The players know what it is. He can complete that and then come back in the team. I'm not even on this like he should never play for us again, rip up the contract, and then he could go for free. Exactly. I get that. But what I'm saying, why I disagree with KG, is by disciplining him for 3 games now doesn't affect his value in the summer. Yes, if he doesn't play from now to the summer because he gets booted out and has to train by himself from now until the summer, that's a different story. But by doing what's right in this moment now, to deal with it now, because this is when it happened, that's not going to have any bearing on what happens in the summer. And there is a way back for Marcus Rashford. Like he's not done at Man United from this. There just need things like this have happened with players before. Like you get fined, you say your apology, depending on your mindset and what type of pro you are, you get your head down and you recover for it. And you look back at a period of your career where you like, I remember I was acting up a little bit, and now look at me. Or you piss away your talent down the drain, and you look back at your career like what Alan Shearer's saying and go, I just got regrets. And I don't want to see Rashford take the second option because the best version of Rashford, he's a good player. I'm not saying he's as good as we maybe 40 years and, you know, all the levels that I get that, but he's better than what we're seeing now. But right now, his attitude is what is letting him down. And that's kind of unforgivable, because if we can sort that out, I don't know what's going on. And that's why I won't go in too hard about his personal. I don't know what's going on in his life, but whatever it is, he's not acting correctly. Bad form is one thing.
Yeah, I think the best thing for us, Flex, what could have happened today is that InEOS have called in his agent. InEOS brother, and said, we're going to sit you down now, I'm going to tell you this is how it is. This is how it is. That's what I hope has happened. And said, go away from here, he'll take his punishment, but it won't happen again. Because if it happens again, this will happen. And they've called him in. They've not Ten Hag, InEOS have called him in. And what that message will send to around that dressing room, will frighten half them to death if InEOS have called his agent in. Because I think that could have very well happened today.
Well, his agent was always going to come in because it's looking like he's going to get fined 2 weeks' wages, and there's going to be some form. Your agent does, and that shows us that, I'll eat my words if I'm wrong, that shows us that he's almost definitely not going to be in a team against Wolves. Because, Wolves. Because it's like the agents are coming in, we've got to work out what's gone wrong here. You know, if you're going to find my client, then we need to go through the proper you know, you need representation there. It's not just I'm annoyed with you, come into my office. It's like, no, get your agent in. We need to have a big chat here because you're taking the piss. There's something bigger. There's something bigger happening. Otherwise, representation doesn't come with you to training. Once you've signed your contracts and you go to work every day, you don't need someone to go to work with you for the day, do you? Unless something's happened. So yeah, I think we can clearly see that's happened. Last 2 super chats, we're going to wrap up. Bobbin says, Rashford's speciality is in the counter-attacking team, counter-attack team, and that's what we are trying to not to be via Ten Hag. So Rashford and other players need to go who can't control the majority of the game. And Rory says he should be sold because he's not good enough. Simple as that, as far as I'm concerned. And then another super chat here from Kevin Mitchell. Says, we can't pretend that Sancho hasn't been pouring poison in Rashi's ear, telling him how to force himself out. Again, look, I don't, when it gets into that, I don't know. I know people can draw their own theories, and I'm not going to tell you not to say that, bro, if that's what you feel. Because people see, obviously, a big connection between the two as really good friends. And, of course, players speak. Players speak in it. So, but I don't know if he's done that. KKM says, big up UV, great show as always. Rashford is the golden boy for United. An example will be made out of him. He will be dropped next game. And I think it's like what Kenny was saying. Like he can't not be dropped, in my opinion. I don't see how, with all this going on, that he can just play. So, guys, big show, crazy show. We got to just over 500 likes, which I'll take that. It should have been 1,000. We was at like 2K watching earlier, just below. Should have been more. But it's okay. We're all good. Thank you for watching, guys. Smash the like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Big up to Marcel. Big up to Kenny. Big up to KJ and Mina, who are obviously not here anymore. And big up to Owen. And most of all, big up to yourselves for watching. We'll be back with another video in the morning. Take care, guys. You're going to get fireworks? There you go. There's his fireworks. Take care. Peace.